Okay, it's time for the famous Blohm und Voss BV141B, which, as you can see from the box art, the old box art, no need to close in really, is there? This is about as asymmetrical as an aircraft can get. How fabulous is that? This aircraft absolutely mesmerised me as a kid, so naturally I went and bought it. Tragically, as you can see, it's in one of those old slot boxes. Forget about that. On the back, a load of blurb, and more interestingly, a photograph, which again, sadly, it's kind of from the wrong side, but obviously not too many photographs survive, do they? Anyway, small amount of markings, which kind of is refreshing, I find, a bit these days. Usual Airfix instructions, and some look at those traditional pilot and gunner. This is second hand, obviously, and somehow he appeared in there. I'm not going to turn my nose up. Perhaps that's what you get. And he appeared in there as well. Remember him? He must be getting on for 50 now. Well done, mate. Where are you now? Yeah, isn't time a monster? So, smiling young fella, and here we all are now. Oh, let's have a look at the parts. There are the lovely clear Airfix instructions. Always troubles me, you get to section 4 and you get around to doing parts number 1 and 2. Well, you know, I don't design these things, I can't moan. Anyway, a bit of paintwork done and a little bit of gluing and a little bit of sanding and things like that. It was a reasonable fit, the fuselage. Then got the wings to do, and gradually it should come together. Nice and quick moving model, this. Simple stuff. And there we are. The wings aren't actually on. I've just forced them into the hole to see how good the fit is, and it is very good. The tail is on though, and you can see where the cockpit is going to go. So I'm just sizing it up. Oh look, there's the ME262 in the background. So just getting an idea at this point, and then I blundered and I put that in and I hadn't put the wheel in. There you go, that's how it should be, standard stuff. What is good about this actually is that Airfix have thought this through, and I think they realise they've got an aesthetically important aircraft. So you get a wheel, see the little points, so that you can actually fit it in to the underside. Meanwhile, it's coming along. Now the wings are glued in, and a little bit of preparing to get the engine on at the front. So yes, there aren't that many parts actually. It is moving really swiftly. Will be done before you know it. Here we are with the basic parts put together, and even if the cockpit was on, actually I'm completely wrong there. So if the cockpit was on the main portion of the fuselage, it would look even simpler than it does now. Having put the cockpit to one side, not only do you get, what's the word, not ambivalent, asymmetrical shape there, but they have to do the same with the tail, which means it's a really simple model, and that's fine by me. It just means it's not going to be the biggest, longest, most detailed film. None of this, by the way, is glued. Oh, do you know, ooh, there we go. Propped up with a bit of box. Now here's levels of cockpit interior. It's very, very simple. It's like the Focke-Wulf one that I did earlier. I can't remember the number. Really, really simple, which is a shame because this is such an unusual cockpit. It would be nice to see more detail, but at least they provide us with that, which is, I've just dropped on, but you get the point, and a chair, all of which need tidying up and a bit of paintwork. So that's something. I'm sure other companies make these and they're full of detail, so I will slowly and gradually look into that, but so far that's what we've got. This is the cockpit mostly done. Well, when I say mostly done, it's that that much done, with a little bit of detail down there. Two fellas. I'm not going to have the bloke at the back, and I'm not going to have machine guns because I don't think, well, I know this never went into action, so it can only ever be like test flights, I guess. So keeping it simple once again. I'm talking of keeping it simple, while I'm cooking the rice, this is drying, you see, so it's suspended in the grapes and other fruit for the chickens. So there's the first bit of the glassware going on to the cockpit, and the washing machine is kicking off in the background. So I think I'll put that bit on next, and then wait a while for a bit of stability. That's almost all the parts on. Got to put the propeller back on. It wasn't really securely on, and then I took it off so that I could paint the old cockpit, get in from that side. So I'm going to put the markings on next, and then the propeller, and of course a little spike jobby, and I think that'll be it. There they are on, so just got the last couple of little bits. No bombs, no machine guns, just want this one looking really smooth to emphasise the fact that it's predominantly a test vehicle and that it's weird. Another dismal and slightly windy day. I think I'll have to go in to get any reasonable shots of this one. But very interesting to see it in silhouette, if nothing else. There you go, in its most basic form. What a very, very interesting aircraft. Right, so done. And there were a few bits that weren't sort of happy, particularly the cockpit glass. There's a bit gappy around the sides, and I did put pressure on it and all the usual stuff. A few other bits were just a little bit of a poor fit, and all of that suggests that it's a model that sort of was aging. So, or the mould, let's be fair, the mould was aging somewhat. So I think we can, easily come to that conclusion. Apart from that, it was a very, very enjoyable model. Straightforward, simple, typical classic Airfix at its best. Not a lot of parts, I have to say, and in the end, not a complex aircraft, as usual, apart from the obvious. So there it is, neat and tidy, straightforward, not too problematic, very enjoyable. And what a fantastic aeroplane. What were they thinking? Personally, I can't, hang on, but they say the design was to help with, being able to, there's a word, clarity of view. I can't help thinking if you're sitting here, the fuselage is going to get in the way of your view. So really, your main view is going to be from the front down, which you could have pretty much had if you'd sat that at the front like they do with the Heinkel. But I suppose it's all about whether it's one engine or two in that case. So, crazy but brilliant. Well, that summed it up nicely, didn't it? Anyway, it was a good model all round. Few bits not quite fitting. Some underneath in particular a little bit gappy. But if you get a chance to get one of these, yeah, go on. Get it, make it, enjoy it. In the end, it's come out okay. A little bit of work here and there to be done. One thing that's really annoying me is I put decal fix on the transfers and they're still showing up as really shiny. So perhaps the whole model needs one coat of gloss varnish. Excuse me, sheep. But that isn't the model's problem, is it? That's something I've done. Anyway, there's the underside looking a bit too grubby. Probably need to tidy that up as well. And it's good. I enjoyed making it. It's a typical and classic Airfix. Simple, straightforward, pretty easy on the whole. So yeah, go on, get one, have fun. That's all from me for now. I think I will get on to clearing my throat, I do apologise, and answering some messages, or responding to some messages. Thanks for watching, see you again soon.